I will start my talk beginning with Sri Aurobindo's Gayatri Mantra. Om Tat Saviturvaram Rupam Jyoti Parasya Dhimahi Yanna Satyena Dhimahi Yanna Satyena Dhimahi. Let us all meditate on the most auspicious form of Savitri, on the light of the Supreme, which shall illumine us with truth. Excuse me. So, psychological causes of illness is a very, very insightful topic about which the Mother and Sri Aurobindo has spoken on length. And because of the kind of atmosphere we've been living in, the kind of dependency on drugs, people, anything that is outside of us, we are dependent on that. And we forget that so much of our problems are within our power to understand and cure. So here I am going to share certain writings from the Mother and Sri Aurobindo, which will again instill in us the confidence that we can help ourselves. And the more we help ourselves, the more we will discover the powers that are within us, about which we are not aware. I will begin today with one quotation of the Mother that will set the tone of the talk. She says, "An illness of the body is always the outer expression and translation of a disorder, a disharmony in the inner being. Unless this inner disorder is healed, the outer cure cannot be total or permanent." So, for every problem in life, we have to go within, look within, do some introspection, ask ourselves. Similarly, whatever issue we are having, whether it is cough and cold, or just a mild flu, or any other, she says, some disharmony, some disorder must have happened in the inner being. Now, what is the inner being? You all must have read quite a lot and also understood the talk of various people who have come here. So, our inner being is constituted of our inner mind, inner vital, inner physical. So, we understand quite a lot that goes on the surface, but we many times miss what goes in the inner. Because see, in the day-to-day life, we tend to shove things inside, sort of cover it. Suppose somebody has said something nasty, or some stress has happened in the office, or somewhere our own expectations are not met, some desires are unfulfilled, or any past trauma that we have just buried inside. Now, sometimes this inner mind, inner vital, it sort of records it and it gets disturbed. So the peace that should be there within us all the time is disturbed, and that is why it may manifest in any of the outer parts of our body. Now, which part is going to be affected by which issue varies with different people. In my experience as a mental health counselor, I have seen that stress affects people in different ways. In some persons, if the stress is too much, it results in having a lot of acidity in the stomach or headache. Sometimes the stress is such a kind that a person has pain in the neck and shoulders. So, it's a stress, but how it affects depends on each one of us and what is the vulnerable part in us. So, as such, I would always like to, quote Mother and Sri Aurobindo whenever I am speaking about them, because I have always found that their words are making a lot of impact than any of us that we would say. So now she says that there are internal causes for which this harmony is disturbed, this equilibrium is disturbed. So I'll just read a small passage from a very long letter that she must have written to one of the sadhaks. She says, "Do not believe that the body will be ill by itself. The whole system will go wrong and you will feel altogether unwell. And if unfortunately there is a vital imbalance, that is a disappointment or too violent an emotion or too strong a passion or something else upsetting your vital, that comes and aggravates it. And when you have this kind of a strong emotion, some sort of a vital disturbance, it does not get resolved because we are too busy fulfilling our responsibilities, our duties. We don't sit. From where has this disturbance come? So Mother has said that once you sit down, I don't feel good today. Something has disturbed me. I'm upset. Let me sit down and find out the source. So when you go inside, means you sit, take time, you probe within, you will find some little spot that got disturbed. And these days we have so many influences. We are constantly checking our mobiles. There are messages on WhatsApp or Facebook or any email or something. People are getting quite disturbed by these messages also. And many a times, we also sometimes misunderstand the emojis that are given. Now why I am telling, because I get these cases in which people say that I wrote this but then I got this kind of an emoji. So even that is disturbing. Certain messages are disturbing. And when you let it lie down, it results in disharmony. So disequilibrium occurs, Mother says further, when all the parts of our being do not move simultaneously. You see, we have so many different planes and parts of our being. We have our mind, our vital, our physical, the psychic being. So if the mind is developing faster, but our emotions are not catching up with it, or our body is not catching up with it, then one or the other part gets disturbed. Now just as you need to have harmony in the society, among your neighbors, you have to have harmony within all the organs of your body also. So sometimes one of the organs is not performing well, it needs to be taken care of. She says that sometimes you have sudden palpitations, you have anxiety and you have the heart beats faster. Now that time just sit down and calm down, say a peace mantra and let the palpitations go down. Sometimes she says you have a headache. There are so many little suggestions and advices given by the Mother that you just imagine that something is going, you're pulling it down, something, just concentrate on the part, the headache, the part, and then pull your consciousness little by little down, and after a few minutes of headache will go. Because you've been putting a lot of thought into that, and that is causing the pain. So the first thing that we learn from the Mothers and Sri Aurobindo's teaching is that you should not ignore or neglect whatever happens in your body. There has to be some cause, and that cause, if you are able to pinpoint it, you can eradicate it. Now, psychological causes of illness is one part of the total integral health concept. So maybe in future we can have a long-term program on various aspects of integral health. But in short, integral health gives us this message that everything that happens in our life comes to teach us. We have to learn from it. Even our illnesses, even our pain and suffering, we have to learn something. This life is given to us to grow in consciousness, to evolve. So once we have this aspiration, when we come here, we have this aspiration, Mother, we want to come near to you. We want to understand you. We want to understand your will. Then gradually, whatever is necessary for us happens in our life. Maybe it may feel negative at times. So one cause, as I said, is disequilibrium of the being. Another reason of any illness that happens is weakness of the nervous envelope. I don't know whether you have heard about this part, but there is a subtle layer surrounding our body. It is around the physical body. It is another layer of the being that surrounds and protects it. This subtle layer is called in different teachings by various names. The etheric body, the nervous envelope. It is subtle and yet most visible. So all communications with the exterior world are made through this medium, and it is this that must be invaded and penetrated first before the body can be affected. So she says that if you can become aware of this subtle layer, you will be aware when some influences are coming from outside and disturbing you. So protecting the nervous envelope is one of the very important aspects not only of our sadhana and integral yoga, but also to remain healthy at all times. Now this is not very difficult. We find it that, well, illnesses and seasonal disturbances and also issues that come with age are inevitable. I don't deny that. Certain things are inevitable. But at the same time, we do have within us the powers that we can unfold. So today I have come with this 4P formula. I always like to shorten my, give the key words. So first, at the psychological level, we have to believe. So what is the belief that we have to inculcate? It is that we have the power and potential. Now we read what Mother has said, many spiritual gurus are saying, but unless and until those teachings becomes ours, it should become ours. It's not because somebody says, oh, you can get cured by chanting the peace mantra, or you can get cured by doing this or doing that. Yes, but I have found that unless I believe, a very strong and firm belief, yes, I have the power, I have the potential. When that is established, you can move very, very faster in whatever you want to do. So what is this nervous envelope, this subtle layer? In Mother's words, this body is built up on the one side of a material basis, or rather material conditions, then of physical matter, and on the other of our psychological states. Now, if I tell you in detail, you will find it that it is so easy. What is easy? That we can be in control of our psychological states. You may say, it's not easy. If somebody does something or something happens to me, I will naturally get upset. It is inevitable that I will get upset. But I have found that if you become aware of your present moment, this moment you are completely in charge of yourself. Something that happened before has occurred, no control. What is going to happen again is not in your control. But this moment, you can choose the experience that you want. For example, suddenly we get a news after we finish the talk that there is a traffic jam or there is something and we can't move out for some time. Now you can choose whether to feel upset by the news or just ignore it and just say, okay, thank you, I'll spend my time in a nice way. Similarly, when we travel, our flights are delayed or traffic jam over here or any ABC issue, we can always choose what to feel, how to feel, what to think. We are in charge of our thoughts, our emotions, our responses to the outer situation. We are not in control of the outer situation. The outer situation may change drastically, but we can always have control over how we are going to respond to it. So, mother says that to keep the nervous envelope intact and to maintain good health at all times, what you need, these are the few ingredients I would say for keeping a very, very peaceful and healthy life is peace and equanimity and confidence. Peace, equanimity, confidence, faith in health. Now, this sounds so easy, but it's not easy. You see, when there was a pandemic 2-3 years ago, people had lost faith in health. Most of the people whom I met, they said, well, this is inevitable, it's going to happen. Why? And in my observation, those who did not think negatively, those who did not fear, were completely immune from any attack of any COVID or etc. or anything. But those who suddenly lost faith in health, they lost faith in themselves, they lost faith in the divine. They were constantly thinking that, oh, I might get it, I might get it. Even nowadays, if we are too much, reading the news, some new bacteria or virus or some epidemic, it's always going on all the time. I think we at least must keep all that news miles away from us. We should be aware of it but not dwell on it. As soon as I would advise you get that news, don't go into detail. Don't go into detail because you never know when your mind will just spin around it. And then you will discuss with few more people and all that. Now, it will disturb your peace, it will disturb your equanimity, it will disturb your confidence, and it will disturb the faith in health. So what we need is undisturbed repose, cheerfulness, bright gladness. Now all these things, mother says, constitute this element in it and give it strength and substance. So nervous envelope is completely intact with peace, happiness, confidence, cheerfulness, always a bright side of things, the sunny side of things. And that helps. That helps in any and every situation. So this is simple yet profound in the sense that it comes to my next third P that I would say. First was power and potential, the belief in ourselves that I have the power and potential. The third P is practice. We must practice what we read, and to practice we have to repeat reading and contemplating on that. Nowadays, when we exchange even quotations of the mother, either from Savitri or any other, we read it and we just close the message. But mother says that one line of Savitri, you must contemplate, sit and dwell on it, because gradually the mantric effect of the line goes inside and reaches your subconscious. Unless and until it reaches your subconscious, it will not be fully embedded in the cells of your body. And for good health, mother says, peace, stillness, equality are the best things to keep yourself healthy all the time. So, the first two causes that I mentioned was disequilibrium in the whole being. Second was the weakness of the envelope. And the third one, as I just mentioned, is, according to the mother, wrong thinking. We are hardly aware of what goes on in our mind. The factory of thought, just keeps on producing and pumping thoughts after thoughts. And Sri Aurobindo says over here regarding wrong thinking, he says, the feeling of illness is at first only a suggestion. It becomes a reality because your physical consciousness accepts it. We accept that, okay, the illness is there. I think most of you must have read about mother's life in Japan. She says that there was a plague and that sort of a thing. And there was one doctor who used to go and visit in the areas where people were affected. And he was not affected at all because he never allowed any suggestion of the illness to enter in his head. So first thing is that we can, just stop the habit of discussing illness. If somebody has a problem, we listen and we just keep it aside, not keep on discussing, sharing, dwelling on it. So he says further that it is like a wrong suggestion in the mind. If the mind accepts it, it becomes clouded and confused and has to struggle back into harmony and clearness. So you must not accept and reject it with the physical mind. So keep your mind free from any suggestions. And Mother says that the most important thing for good health is control over the mind, because the body obeys almost totally what you believe. The body almost always obeys what you believe. Believe. So, as I said, change your belief. Change at the root. Change your belief. And change completely that you can be always healthy, because you can always be happy. So I have found that the little problems that our body has teaches us integral yoga much faster than any other teaching, because through the issues of the body you concentrate more on what has to be corrected in the consciousness. If your body did not suffer, if your body did not have pain, you would be just going about in your life fulfilling your vital cravings, your ambitions, your desires, and all the little responsibilities. But when you are on this path, I tell you, a little issue, whether it is a psychological issue of, say, depression or anger or stress or panic or anything, or a physical, say, cold, cough, flu, leg ache, body ache, any, take it as a blessing that Mother wants me to dwell in my inner being, wants me to find out where have I gone wrong, where have I, missed being in total faith, in total surrender, in peace. So through our problems, we can grow much more. So never ignore and just pull out what has gone wrong. The wrong could be in feelings and the emotion part. We have so many different emotions throughout the day. Morning may start with a lot of enthusiasm and cheerfulness. During the day, you might feel a little low, little disappointed, little dissatisfied. By the end of the day, perhaps when you're working and you're not able to fulfill your targets, you may feel a little depressed. So number of moods and emotions keep on passing. And all these different moods and different emotions and the thoughts accompanied with it produce a chemical change in your body. Now going a little deeper into what Mother has said, why she says peace and cheerfulness and confidence and all that? Because it keeps the happy hormones, the chemicals in your body in the right measure that gives you energy all the time. The loss of energy in the body is not so much because of having less food or rest. Your energy is sucked by a negative thought. Your energy is sucked by some anger within, some dissatisfaction within, some jealousy within. We have to find these things which in Bhagavad are known as Shadripu, are known as Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mad, Moha, Matsar. Now these 6 enemies are real enemies of our psychological state, because they disturb our peace, disturb our happiness. So again, when these disturbances come, just go deep within and change into a positive thought. Again, the Mother says on the power of thought. The power of thought over the body is tremendous. You cannot imagine how tremendous it is. Even a thought that is subconscious and sometimes quite unconscious acts and produces fantastic results. Now, I know the effectivity of thought more so because I practice giving these positive thoughts known as affirmations to those who come for counseling. And I have, by the grace of the Divine Mother, I have been able to instill faith in them regarding their issues. And once the affirmations are given, like it changes the belief, I am strong, the Mother is with me, I have surrendered to the Mother. Now these few affirmations, just few, completely changes the inner atmosphere. Just as we come from heat and come into a room, cool, AC room, similarly, as soon as these affirmations go inside, that I am strong, I have confidence, I have faith in the Mother, Mother is with me, I am peaceful, etc. Now that changes, and we can all use this power of thought rather than the power of medicines or pills that we have given to us. And these kind of thoughts are quite potent. Now I come to one of the most common emotion that most of us experience around us, fear. Fear, just comes in without even our knowing it. And vigilance is one of the very important practices in integral yoga sadhana also. You have to be so vigilant. Just as you won't allow, any mosquito or any fly or any other thing to enter your house and disturb it, you must be vigilant of any negative thought that enters. So here Mother says that 90% of illnesses are the result of the subconscious fear of the body. 90, imagine. So how illnesses enter into our body? She says in the ordinary consciousness of the body, there is more or less hidden anxiety about the consequences of the slightest physical disturbance. In the ordinary consciousness, suppose we have something, we start googling or we start asking somebody and we find out, oh, this could be this could result in that, this could, so one step, second step, third step, and it causes disturbance because we start thinking of the consequences. Now, I know a friend who recently had some growth in her stomach, which had to be surgically removed. She thought, I will use the power of thought. So she told her family and her doctors that let me practice the power of thought. If I don't succeed, I will get operated. So for 3 months, she practiced this power of thought that this growth is gone. It's not there. I'm clear. Nothing is there. And at the end of 3 months, when she goes to the doctor for examination, he says, yes, you don't need surgery. Now this is a very recent example. I've got hundreds of them to share. But what I'm trying to say is that even the physical growth in the body can subside if you decide that you must do it this way. So it is all, how we decide. And if I recall, one of the prayers of the Mother is that this earthly existence, just a few days ago I read, this earthly existence is given to us so that matter is divinized. So all of us have the body, the material body, and to gradually work in the line of divinizing it, we have to realize that it has the power to divinize, that the divine has given us the power to divinize, and that the divine is present in each and every cell of our body. So if it can work, the power of thought can work on the body, it can definitely work in our mind, our vital, our emotions, and we can really enjoy good health and at the same time we can progress. So she says that as a practical means of overcoming this subconscious fear, each time that something of it comes to the surface, the more enlightened part of the being must impress on the body the necessity of an entire trust in the divine grace. The certitude that this grace is always working for the best in ourselves as well as in all, and the determination to submit entirely and unreservedly to the divine's will. Now, this quotation was long, but what it means that suggestions may come, fear may come, but we have this different part. She says, let the enlightened part impress upon that. So what is the enlightened part? Our intellect, our mind. We read, we have knowledge. The part that is knowledge of what the Mother and Sri Aurobindo is telling us is the enlightened part. And the part that is fearful is our subconscious, something that happens in the body. So our intellect, which has enlightened, which has got knowledge, which has developed faith, must impress upon that part and impress upon it, tell, affirm that it need not worry and that things will be alright. Because she says that fear is like a magnet. She says fear is hidden consent. Fear is hidden consent. Because I remember a very young boy, very healthy. During COVID times, he was constantly reading about how many cases were found today and what happened and this and that. And within a few days, I heard that he got it. Because, I just sort of see Mother is so 100% correct on how our thoughts and our this thing, constant preoccupation with that thing. See, everything attracts this world. This life is like that. So you think of negativity, negativity comes to it. She says when you are afraid of something, it means that you admit its possibility and thus strengthen its hand. It can be said that it is a subconscious consent. So, I think by becoming more and more aware of our thoughts, we can completely, avoid it. So today I will not go totally, deep into the subconscious part because that again takes a lot of time to go into it. But what Mother has said, I'll share in brief that one of the causes of illness is subconscious fear. I have heard many people saying that every winter I have this issue or every summer I have this issue. So you see, you are reminding the body that okay, now it is your time.
It's okay to have it.
It's okay to have it, So it can. So the body is so conscious and it has the memory also. And once you consciously trigger the memory, it said okay, I'll let it happen. I'll have a play like that. But as I said that the more we try to change our basic belief, the more we try to impress on our mind, our subconscious, the teachings of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, which need to be repeatedly done. Because the whole process of human life is to learn something, unlearn certain things, and relearn new things. So these three aspects have to be part of our life. Learn something, unlearn something, and then relearn something. And every day, see to it what is your mood index, like where are you? Which are you in the happiness zone? Are you in the disappointment, dissatisfaction? And as you become more and more aware, you will be able to locate where is the point of consciousness at this moment. It requires some effort. So I come to the last P that I've started from is practice. Progress. If you start with the basic belief that you have the power and potential, then you practice the teachings and then it will result in progress. So progress, how do you understand and measure progress in integral yoga? People have asked me, how do you know? How can we understand that we have progressed? We pray, we meditate, we read, we listen to talks. So, there my simple answer is that you can understand your progress by knowing how many days consistently you are having equality and peace and joy. So, the number of days that you are able to keep peace, equality, joy, cheerfulness, and of course there will be ups and downs. But as you progress, the duration and intensity of your disturbance goes down. Earlier, if you were disturbed for 2 days, it will be for 2 hours, or then it may become just 2 minutes. Because we have a very powerful mantra from the mother, which is, you all must know me, remember and offer. So she says, immediately, whatever you feel, something you are upset about, some negative thought that is not going out of your mind, something somebody said or did or happened, it's not going out of your system, just offer it. So today I'll read now, I'm coming to the end. Today, I've selected one prayer of the mother that is specifically for the body, and how we can do this offering. This prayer is of March 17, 1914. This prayer does help a lot. So,
Which date? March 11.
March 17, 1914. I'll read. When physical conditions are a little difficult and some discomfort follows, if one knows how to surrender completely before thy will, caring little for life or death, health or illness, the individual being enters immediately into harmony with thy law of love and life, and all physical indisposition ceases, giving place to a calm well-being, deep and peaceful. I have noticed that when one enters into an activity that necessitates great physical endurance, what tires one most is anticipating beforehand all the difficulties to which one will be exposed. It is much wiser to see at every moment, and repeat the line, it is much wiser to see at every moment only the difficulty of the present instant. In this way, the effort becomes much easier, for it is always proportionate to the amount of strength, the resistance at one's disposal. The body is a marvelous tool. It is our mind that does not know how to use it, and instead of fostering its suppleness, its plasticity, it brings a certain fixity into it which comes from preconceived ideas and unfavorable suggestions. But the supreme science, O Lord, is to unite with Thee, to trust in Thee, to live in Thee, to be Thyself, and then nothing is any longer impossible to a man who manifests Thy omnipotence. Lord, my aspiration rises to Thee like a silent canticle, a mute adoration, and Thy divine love illumines my heart. O Divine Master, I bow to Thee. So please read this prayer again slowly, and let each line, go deep into your mind and your subconscious, because a friend of mine did this, so what is suggested by the mother. She was undergoing tremendous physical pain, and she remembered this prayer and she just offered it to the Divine Mother, And she says that for a few seconds she experienced a state of complete freedom from pain, as if everything was taken by the divine. Though it did not last long, but it gave the faith that if continued in this way, the body will really be relieved. And as the prayer says, it is the mind that makes the mischief. The body is ready to relieve itself, because the body is absorbing all the negative thoughts, all the negative experiences that we have. It absorbs and it keeps it. So when we offer it to the mother, it is empty, and in its natural state, the body is in a state of bliss, because the body does have the divine presence in it. So to learn how to completely surrender is it. So the different psychological causes I mentioned just now. Now for say 7 to 8 minutes we will have a music. It is based, the inspiration was the power of aspiration and
Questions later.
yeah, I think let's have questions, then we at the end we have music. That's my suggestion.
I have two questions. One is the request that can you please repeat that quote, please?
Power, potential, practice, and progress.
Oh, power and potential. Okay. And I have a question. You said that inequilibrium.
So I can hear.
Okay.
No, others also.
Inequilibrium of the being is the cause of the illnesses, right? And also said that illness comes to teach us something. Is it a contradiction?
No.
How do you contradict?
See, because of the inequilibrium, illness comes. And when it comes, you find out how this inequilibrium came. You try to understand
Yes,
the cause, and then you set it right.
Then this illness comes to teach us something is that
Yeah, to
finding
teach us that why this happened to me. What was the inner cause? What was the disturbance? What is the significance? It comes to teach us.
No, what happens if we can't identify the disturbance?
Yeah. It takes practice to go within and identify the
Sometimes
disturbance.
we can make out, oh,
Yeah.
I got disturbed because of this, but sometimes you can't make out.
Yeah. So, I think if you learn to identify your emotions, you will be able to find out what is the disturbance. Is it anger? It is sadness? Is it jealousy? Is it stress? Is it dissatisfaction? At least you can identify your emotions, and through the emotions you can trace the thread in the past from where it came. It's easy to identify emotions. If I ask you, what are you feeling right now? If you put your hand, for example, over here and concentrate for a minute, you will be able to know what are you feeling at this moment. So the disturbance also can be, understood by focusing on it. What sort of disturbance is this? Is it an unfulfilled desire, unmet expectation, disappointment, frustration, anger, sadness?
And what about the chronic diseases which are there for a long time?
Yeah, so chronic diseases are sort of a bad habit that we have.
That's also an inner state, no? That
Yeah, when it first happened, it could be result of an inner state. But when it is unresolved,
established.
it's there. So that's what I read in the first place. And Sri Aurobindo says that absolute cure of an illness so that it cannot return again depends on clearing the mind, the vital and the body consciousness, and the subconscious of the psychological response to the force bringing the illness. You see, there is a response to it which brings the illness. For example, if you are angry at somebody, right? And if you do not control your response of anger to that person, if that person continuously irritates you and makes you angry, so whatever that anger is bringing to you will never go away, because you are not being able to be neutral towards the person who is making you angry. It will go away only when the person trying to make you angry, you do not become angry, you do not react. You just answer it with a smile. I mean, it needs quite an effort. It's a yogic effort, absolutely, but that's what is important.
So that finding out the anger and to become neutral, that's the teaching you get, that's the teaching.
To become neutral is the first stage.
No, I'm saying that the we get illness to something is taught to us.
Yes.
So I'm trying to tell you what I understood. So you said that to recognize, diagnose anger and to become neutral. That is the teaching you are going to learn.
That is what I am saying.
First,
that initially, the first response is that you become neutral, right? Indifferent. You are neither happy nor sad. That is how you go further. Then you don't have to be neutral. It becomes your nature. It doesn't affect you. You are peaceful. So there are stages. You become indifferent. You need neutral, peaceful. Then you are always in a state of joy. The last stage is always joy. Yes.
So, this is when we are awake, we can understand and even if we forget sometimes to remind us, we do this. But what happens if these happen at night when we barely have any control? Maybe we are able to know the thing after the fact, but it keeps on happening because it happens. You wake up, then you reinforce. But I'm not able to reinforce before the fact.
Yeah.
So this has happened to me and I'm not able to control it. So I thought I make my days, because the night's a reflection of the days. I try to comb the days and make it as neutral possible. But certain things recurs, and it recurs at the same time of the night. And I have
Yes.
yeah.
So Mother has given us this. There's a collection by P.S. Dalal, the Night School of the Mother.
Right, yes.
So the process is very long, but she says that you have to pray to the Mother and give the suggestion to your subconscious that I do not want to react in this way. I will become conscious of my nights, my sleep, and I will offer this as the moment it happens. So gradually, after a long practice, it could take months or years, because to penetrate that part on which our conscious mind has no control takes a little time. And there, we can pray to the Mother to give us that force to overcome that. Or rather, she does it. We don't do it. We pray to her that she helps us to overcome this particular issue. And people have reported that after months of practice, it goes away. So what we need to be more conscious in our sleep at night, which is another level of awareness.
See, I was doing that and that led to this, so I actually stopped that. So I thought maybe
if it led to that means that you are on the way. At least you have identified what is it happening. So you get more and more clarity. You see, once you start the, say, clinical process or what, something has to come out from the bottom.
And muck is seen all around.
Yeah, so that is, don't stop halfway. You go through this, you will get over it in a few months.
And another question, you mentioned that the enlightened mind impresses. So the process of impression is to remind ourselves, think about it, or is there any other way to impress?
Yeah, the psychological method that we use is known as, talking to oneself. So my mind, my brain, my intellect knows that I must surrender to the Mother, offer to the Mother. So something that is stubbornly sticking, it not going away, I will try to talk to myself, you have to offer this to the Mother, let it go. So you talk to yourself. That is very effective. Talking to oneself, because talking means the mind, the part that is enlightened, knows that this should not be. And the vital, the lower vital or the other, which has the habit of sticking to it. Because you see, the ego is very stubborn in the lower part. it loves suffering. It's attached to suffering and it wants to dwell on it. And it doesn't want to be free from sorrow and pain. It loves the drama.
It wants it.
So that enlightened part is no, leave it. Leave it. Don't think about it. Go away from it. Offer it. So constantly you talk and then it goes away. And Sharvinda has said also in one of his quotations that when you find these disturbances in yourself, detach yourself, that it is not your true self, not part of your true self. You know, it is something that is given to you by Prakriti, by nature. Your true self is your soul, your psychic being.
Witnessing?
This is a Prakriti and gradually be detached to it. So when you feel detached to it, you will let it work in its own way, not worried about it. At the same time, you keep on changing it. Like when something goes wrong with your vehicle, you will not say, I got scratched, or my scooter got scratched, or my car got scratched. You did not get it. So you take care of that scratch and you take care of the vehicle, but you don't cry over it. It happens, it's a vehicle. So it's Prakriti. So Prakriti has got this habit, this nature, and we have to grow in consciousness so as to understand the Prakriti and change it as much as we can. And being detached helps in not getting disturbed about it. Oh, I did this, I had the desire, or I got angry. Well, a part of me got angry, but I should not be. I will take care of it. So you forgive yourself also, and you forgive others who have also done that. So that way you reduce dwelling on the negativity. You just move ahead. Okay, chalo, ho gaya. Now what?
One very basic thing, when we say remember and offer,
Yeah.
what kind of act is that actually? By word meaning we understand.
Yeah. So one is, there are different ways with different people. Like you can go and sit in front of the mother's picture, right? Mother's picture, and then just imagine that you have put everything in her lap. Put your head at her feet. Another thing is that you imagine this flame within you, the Agni. And you put all that in that Agni because she says, I am in you, I am within you. So that is the mother's presence, the spark. So you offer it that spark, you let it burn. Either of the ways.
It's not disowning the act.
No, you are just putting it and burning it.
Okay.
After burning it, it's no longer part of you. It's no longer part of you, you've given it. And when you don't think about it, it's not there. See, everything is in the mind. And once your mind lets it go, it's not part of your system at all. You're free. Or maybe the memory is there, but the memory does not disturb. See, things may come as a memory. All that you have offered, they come as a memory. But they'll be like, a paper tiger. It does not bite. A real tiger bites, but if you see a picture, the paper, it does not bite. It just may come. You can just laugh it off, like a cinema that goes on. You don't have to bother why it's coming. It will come because as long as you have this thing, the subconscious will record.
One more last.
Yes.
How to strengthen our nervous envelope, that which becomes weak over a period or is weak for some.
Yes. You have to remain always cheerful. Happiness is one thing that I have found a very strong way of keeping the nervous envelope. And one of the greatest enemies of the nervous envelope is stress, anxiety. The most common, we are anxious about everyday life. We are anxious about every duty, every activity that we do. So anxiety and stress. And of course, some people get depressed also. Somebody has anger issues. Each Prakriti has some dominant thing. We have to find out that which is that dominant negative quality which governs my daily life. Somebody's daily life may, be constantly preoccupied with stress. Someone could be, depressed. So find out that thing and remove that, and instead of put peace into it. And there are very deeper layers into maintaining it. It is the ego personality which thinks that it is the doer of things.
I.
So once you start your day, that mother, I'll do whatever I can do today because you are the doer. See, like in Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna says, I am the Karmadhyaksh and Karma Phaladata. So he oversees our karmas, Karma Adhyaksh, Adhyaksh of the karma, and Karma Phaladata, give the fruits of the results also. So when everything is the divine's, the work is his, the result are his, then can't we do it joyfully? We can do as much as we can. And if something is left behind, okay, fine. It's okay, I'll do it again tomorrow. So to be little, while doing, little detached. Yes.
Molecular disease, organic disease, psychic disease. In our global perspective, the diseases are conferred in the field of medicine. They are awarding the Nobel Prize. They are, suppose I am a heart attack or stroke, we are giving the molecular targets that ultimately ameliorating the organic healing. So my question is that molecular hitting organic organ, heart of the brain, psychic being, supreme consciousness for our general persons, not for extremely expert yogis. We are not in that plane. Not possible to detach from this material world because we are engaged in different material science, physics, chemistry, mathematics. Psychology is another field. So when that disease is ameliorating by the molecular targets invented by the scientists, discoveries, that is also having bearing to psychic, number one. Or if I do not care for this molecular organic target, only I can ameliorate or heal by psychic practice to increase the immunoprotectivity of our system. Because basically, when by any means immunity goes down, either by COVID or by infection or by our irregular dietary habits, disease comes. So what should be the general mass approach by our discussion? Because we have to take care of the mass also. If we
I don't agree with you. We have to take care of ourselves. The divine will take care of the masses.
we are take care of ourselves only. So little bit of self-centered psychicness development.
Not self-centered. No, no.
It is not in our power to worry about others. The moment you take care of yourself, you are in harmony, you are in joy, the fragrance
Yes.
of consciousness will
Radiate,
spread.
huh?
It will spread automatically. You don't have to do anything.
When the
You
person,
just be in a state of joy, be in a state of peace, be in a state of love and delight. You'll automatically be spreading it.
very good.
And with your example, with your presence, more and more people will be in the state of peace and harmony.
But when patient is coming to our physical medical world, the organic treatment, molecular treatment, and the depends on psychological disease, psychological treatments. We have to offer them.
Only if they are interested in open. We don't offer this knowledge to just everybody who is not open and interested.
Not offering the knowledge. We have to cure the if the psychological disease.
Yes, we have to explain. It is their duty to follow. We can explain that your issue is due to the psychological problem, your physical problem. Take care of it. See, that I have met many doctors, and all the doctors say that our patients have psychological issues more. And when I was starting my practice early, I used to tell them that why don't you refer to me? None of them refer to me because they will get all right, and they are not interested in
Exactly.
making them all right. They want to continue to give them medicines. And the people also, even while knowing that their issues because of stress, for lifetime they continue to take pills because they do not want to change either their own nature or their surroundings. You see, to overcome psychological issues, you have to change your nature. You have to work on your nature. You have to work on your defects, your limitations, right? And also you may need to change your environment, because if the environment is triggering your problems, you may have to change your environment. If these two things you do not want to do, even while understanding that the cause is psychological, you continue to take medicines, which 99% of the people do it.
Easy way to do it.
Yes. This is easy. What we are learning and teaching is the hardest of all.
Exactly.
Is the hardest of all. But since we are on this path, we want to do the hard part. Otherwise, we would not have been here.
Yes.
We want to do the hard part out of love for the divine, love of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. We are trying to attain the hard part. Yes.
I just wondered if whatever we discussed today, if it also helps with major mental illnesses.
Yes.
Like there are some illnesses that have to be treated
Yes.
for them to have a meaningful life. So I would like to know how much more complex it becomes for those kind of scenarios, like say bipolar or schizophrenic or something like that.
So I have been dealing with patients of bipolar, even OCD and personality disorders and all. And I've been working for many years, and I've been using the integral psychotherapy approach, not overtly telling them about Mother and Sri Aurobindo, but then using whatever knowledge that they have given. And many have felt the help. They have got some opening within them. So few who were not having bipolar but just mild and moderate depression, they are not out of pills completely, because they could understand the root cause of the depression and they were able to help themselves to come out of it through the practices that were taught. And others are not so dependent on medicines, and they have learned how to cope up with their own power and potential as I measure. So this approach does help in freeing a person from the prison of their own mind and mindset. It helps in freeing them, because it shows them that there is something within you which can liberate you. It gives them hope. And power of thought. I use a lot of affirmations. And one of a very stubborn schizophrenic patient of mine has been getting much help through this power of thought technique. I think if taking one thought and repeating it.
While giving this kind of therapy, see, if you are not equipped, does it come to us?
Sorry, equipped means?
That means we are experienced and we can protect ourselves. Does this therapy or whatever they try to take out that disease from them, does it affect us?
Affect means the person who is doing the therapy?
Doing the therapy.
No.
Unless we get protection from the mother, no?
See, yeah, it depends on how you are dealing with it. If you have the right protection, if you have the right, you see, it's like any other doctor who is treating a patient. He knows how not to get infected. So when I'm training counselors, I would advise them to remain detached. See, Mother and Sri Aurobindo's teaching helped me in remaining absolutely neutral and not affected by my decades of practice with mentally ill patients. Why? Because what Sri Aurobindo says, that each and every one of the persons are authors of their own pain. One. Second, any illness or any suffering remains because something in the person is attached to it, wants to cling to it. So even after my intervention, the person continues to have issues, I would not be affected. So you want it, you like it, a part of your own mind or life is attached to it. So fine, like get rid of it if you have to. But if you can't, then I said, okay, mother, that's your will. And if they get cured, that's your will. If they're not, that's your will. You know, it's just a joy to do work in their light. The results are not in my hands, nor do I, give myself the credit also, having helped.
Yeah, you mentioned about the nervous
Envelope.
envelope.
Yes.
So, as we were discussing, many people do not know the cause because that's the space where disease enter
Yes.
the body to the physical.
Yes.
So, many people do not know how it has entered and they are physically ailment.
Mhm.
So, there are alternate therapies where people cleanse the
Yes.
or body nervous envelope.
Yeah.
So, without the patient being really not knowing
Yes.
in what Mother Nature window and how
Yes.
to go deeper and
Yes.
so would that help kind of cleansing and alternative therapies?
Alternate therapies do
And then
help.
they can be told these and then they themselves start working.
Correct. Alternate therapies do work. There are so many rituals in Africa. The tribes do it, and Red Indians in America. All these original tribes, they know they light a fire. They have certain incantations, what they call mantra, and they have a firehouse or something, sweat house, whatever they say. And they take out all the impurities of the body, and for 3-4 days people are there. All these things are very, very helpful in cleaning the aura. But what happens after you come out of it and get polluted again? Here we get the power to do it ourselves. Here we get the master key of doing it ourselves. Mother says that, I have read a lot on this, so I know what Mother says, that if you feel slightly uneasy, see, you have gone out, the whole day you have been attending conference or work or traveling or meeting and all that. At the end of the day, you feel either slightly, tired more than usual, or you feel a little low in your mood. You must find out, is your nervous envelope punctured today? And slight uneasiness. She says slight uneasiness. See, you have to be very, very vigilant about it. And you can know. It really helps. And I have seen a yogi, I have worked with a yogi, and I know that his energy level would not go down even a bit after working for 23 hours in 24 hours. He would just lie down for a few. Why? Because he was always in a state of Satchidanand. Satchidanand. He would say Anandi Anand all the time, Anandi Anand. And that positive energy used to recharge his physical energies in such a way that he never felt physically tired. Mentally tired ka to sawal hi nahi hai, but physically tired bhi nahi. Because, and also Mother has said, even I was undergoing that, physical tiredness and all that, though there is some other issues also, but Mother says that when you work for the divine, you will never feel tired. So there's so much to it, that we feel tired, that we feel upset. But becoming aware of the nervous envelope is one of the very big milestones that we can achieve for ourselves. Because then that will, help us in progressing towards the divine. I mean, I always take it that this, though it is part of the health, but it's so much very much part of how we go forward in our sadhana, unite with the divine. Because we are absolutely, see, two things help in remaining healthy and also moving forward in sadhana. Two things. One, accepting every situation that life gives us every day. Accepting. Today this happened, I accept it. That happened, I accept. We are labeling events as this and that. And that also in the life divine Sri Aurobindo says that it is our labels that tells us that this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. This is pain and this is not pain. They are just labels the mind gives us. Because you have seen people walking on fire. You have heard of them walking on fire? Have you seen them piercing their tongue with this thing? There is no pain. Why? Because they have given the suggestion, the subconscious is given the suggestion that it is all good. It is all normal. Kuch nahi hota humko. And we stand for 5 minutes in the sun and we complain, oh, this is, I'm immediately tired. That thought tires us. And then there is this another way, when we used to go for trekking. Oh, बहुत अच्छी धूप है. Oh, बहुत अच्छा दर्द हो रहा है. But everything, even if you are tired, बहुत अच्छा है. सब कुछ बहुत अच्छा है. So I've seen, people, completely changing their response to the things that normally people would, complain, completely changing. And when you completely change your response in everything to, like you say, oh, this was nice, that was good, delay ho gaya, good, no delay, good, late, nothing should disturb
Kind
you.
of
Your
acceptance.
nervous envelope will always be intact and you will enjoy good health in spite of the seasonal changes or whatever, and all, kuch bhi nahi hoga. It's a very interesting journey, I would say, and to become vigilant of all that.